All right, so as you guys know with the TT, my favorite time of the week is parts delivery day. And today we got more parts to throw on the TT. So let's do a little unboxing of some spicy parts today. We've got ourselves an intake, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for a while, people have always just been like, oh, throw an intake on it. It'll sound really, really good. I'm gonna be honest, I've wanted an intake for a really long time. We're gonna be doing a little bit of a combo, as we did just put the diverter valve plus the new one by GFB on the car. You can go check that out if you wanna see that video. Link will be in the description. So we're gonna be doing some more intake or charge track stuff. And there are a couple of different intakes that are available for the EA113 CDM and CDL. That's the Mark 6R and the TTS engine. However, I didn't want a hot air or like an open box intake, so we've gone ahead and we've picked up basically the only closed box, or like I would say high performance intake that has been available for the Mark II for a very long time now, and that is Integrated Engineering's carbon fiber intake box. But check this thing out. Full carbon fiber. Let's go look at it in the sun. Like, damn, it looks so good. This is the first full carbon fiber part I have ever owned for a vehicle. I've never had anything on any of my cars that have been carbon fiber or like made out of anything like as high quality as this. It just looks so sick. Let's unbox the whole thing. We'll lay it all out, put it together, and let's slap it in the TT and go for a rip and see how this thing see how it performs. Obviously, we have our carbon fiber intake box, or the top of it at least. We've got our juicy carbon fiber velocity stack as well. We don't want to scratch anything, so we're just gonna lay that there. We've got our intake coupler pipe. This does look a little bit bigger, the one that I was actually supposed to get, because I think the one that I was supposed to get has like some ribs or something in it, but we got that guy there. We got our ginormous IE pod filter, the IE logo there on the front. This thing's huge. Like, I don't even know how big that is. About average. Then we've got all these guys here. So these are all of our intake noise doors. So one of the cool things about the IE intake box is it has these the noise doors on the front and on the back, and you can kind of mix and match to how much noise you really want. I'm probably going to run them all closed, except maybe for the front one open, because we want as much cold air into the engine as possible for performance. And then before I forget, we've got our hardware bag here with all of our clamps and our bolts and stuff. And then some like IE swag that I'm not going to worry about right now. So we're going to start by putting our noise doors in. I'm going to run all of them to begin with, and then I might pull one out later on just to get a noise test to see what it sounds like compared to that. But we're focused on performance here, so we're going to start with everything closed off, and then we're going to test some IETs to see how much lower they are. And I guess we have to take the stock intake apart first, because we're going to need the some of the hardware from that. So, like the mass airflow sensor. Intake box off. And I'm not entirely sure if the cross, maybe. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That just pulls right out. There you go. The salami lid. The salami lid don't fit. Are you serious? I'm dumb. I didn't look through the entire box. There's an adapter. It's right here. I'm not being very careful with this. There we go. MAF is installed now. So now, I guess, let's put some noise doors on. Wow, these are tiny. Fucking. Look at how small that is. Look at how small that is. Bruh. How the hell am I supposed to put those in? Here we go. Box is fully assembled. Very nice. Okay, so next obviously we're going to put the velocity or the intake pod filter on the velocity stack. Here we go. Okay, let's slap this. Let's see if it'll fit in the car with the little post or snow guard, or I don't even know what the hell you would call that thing. Nah. See, I didn't think it would, so I'd have to chop that out. No. Oh yeah. There we go. And there we go. Now we just gotta plug in the MAF. Let's fire it up and see if it sounds any different. Sounds about the same. I don't know. I have all of the noise doors closed right now, so we could open the front one, but we'll go for a drive and see if it sounds any different.
We've got the integrated engineering carbon intake installed, so we're gonna log our intake air temperature, and we're gonna do 2 different tests, mainly because with the stock intake, it's basically in the same form as the stock intake, so we're probably not gonna see really any major difference in terms of intake air temperatures between the stock intake and the upgraded one. So we're gonna run it with the front noise door and the rear noise door on the intake closed now, and then we're going to go ahead, go back, take the front noise door off, and then compare the intake air temperatures again. I'm just gonna quickly log that with some other stuff, and then we'll see what the car is doing in terms of with the noise door open and it sounding better with the noise door closed. But so far the upgraded intake doesn't really sound any different with the noise doors closed. So if you are buying this for performance reasons, obviously you're not gonna get a lot of a sound difference unless you open the noise doors, and we'll compare that when we do a couple pulls here, and then we'll see just how different they sound. I'll turn all the fans and stuff off, and we'll just get some raw POV driving noise. Right off the bat, ideally not as good as our stock intake, but one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that the temperature is literally 11 degrees Fahrenheit hotter, and we're gonna look at the IATs and stuff. Everything else is pretty uniform. Our 60 foot is basically almost the same. Our 330 is a little bit slower, and that ultimately can come down to the heat as well, because our IATs are going to be a little bit hotter. We'll look at the data in a second and we'll see what that looks like. Yeah, we'll quickly head back and we will get the noise door open, and then we'll do another test and we'll see what that sounds like, and we'll do another draggy test. And just so I can quickly give you guys a sense of what the sounds like completely closed, I will rev it with it closed, and then I'll put it on launch control and you can hear what it sounds like completely closed as well. And then I'll do it open. Very stock sounding with the box closed. So now we're gonna open it up, and then we'll see what it sounds like with it open. Okay, so now we have the front noise door off. Let's see what it sounds like. Sounds a little bit different. Let's go see if it has any performance differences. Probably gonna lose a little bit of intake air temperature gains and some speed, but we'll see. You can already basically tell how much different the intake sounds. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but you can actually hear the induction noise now. And a little bit of the diverter valve as well. So that's kind of interesting. It had a better 60 foot, a better 330, and a better quarter mile time slightly, and I think I lifted. But it had a, yeah, so you can see I lifted because it's a 174 across the board, but we'll compare this a little more closely in a second. We'll go do our regular street driving to see what the IATs are that way, and then we'll conclude the video. Okay, so I just wanted to do another 0 to, or I guess a quarter mile test with the new intake, because the weather was so much hotter than it was when we did this with the stage 2. So I want to try and do this again now that the weather is colder. It's 14 degrees out, so it's about 4 degrees colder than what it was when we did the stage 2 test. So we'll be able to do the math to calculate the differences and whatnot. So we're just gonna get ourselves all set up here with the Draggy, and then we'll try and figure it out here. This is with the front noise door open on the intake. We have the GFB DV Plus is now installed, and we're still stage 2, not high pressure fuel pump. So yeah, definitely a little bit faster, but we're more concerned with the data down here. So we'll talk about the intake air temperatures and stuff, and then we'll talk about some Draggy times here. So let's go back to the studio. Okay, so we've got our 3 Draggy times here. I'm just going to keep the Draggy stuff sweet and simple because we're going to have to go and look at the IATs in a second here. But stock left, IE closed box in the middle, and IE open noise door on the front on the far right. Biggest thing between all 3 of them is that the temperatures are different between all of them, just because the stock intake stage 2 testing was done on one day, the IE closed was done on one day, and then the IE open was done on one day. It's just the weather has been all over the place with testing and that kind of thing. And then the IE open pulls that I did get, I actually lifted when I was testing them, it looked like, in the Draggy, so I'm not going to count those. The IE open has the best 60 foot so far. 330 is also still a little bit better than the stock intake, but as you can see, pretty much the stock intake does perform very, very well. On a stock turbo, there isn't really a lot of restrictions from the factory to begin with, and being that they're made out of plastic, they don't retain heat very well, so you don't have any heat soaking or that kind of thing. And the flow in them is already quite good. You're not really going to be able to beat that. And then as soon as you go to like a fully open style intake, you're just bringing hot air into the engine, and that's just going to throw your timing all out of whack, and you're not going to be able to run nearly as close to someone who's got a purpose set up closed box intake or something that gets better cold airflow. So there you go. If you want to dig into the numbers a little bit more, you can pause the video and look at the Draggy a bit more, but let's jump into the IATs and the logs and stuff now. Okay, so we got the open noise door on the left and the closed noise door on the right. These are just both of the pulls that we did with the Draggy because they were the most accurate. The data, obviously, that you see with the numbers isn't going to be very representative of what the actual peaks and stuff were, because that doesn't really matter at this point. So with the data analysis side of this, the averages that we got, the closed noise door during the pull averaged 53.4 degrees Celsius, and the open noise door in the front with the carbon intake averaged 46.7 degrees Celsius during the pull. And when we started the pull, we tried to get the IATs to be at the same level while idling before we did launch control. Okay, so moving on to our street driving. Now, this data is a little bit more difficult to exactly replicate. I tried to kind of follow driving the same route. So with the visualization of the data that you can see right here, we're cutting out certain sections of it that were just too different compared to one another, and we're actually just using mainly the driving sections where we were averaging similar speeds. On the street, the intakes don't make too big of a difference in their configuration compared to when you're actually doing pulls or driving the vehicle hard. So the closed noise door setup of the IE intake was averaging 48.9 degrees Celsius on the street, and the open front noise door only on the street was averaging 47.1 degrees Celsius. So
basically almost 2-degree difference when you're just driving it on the street. But for those of you guys that care more about performance, the poles obviously are going to make a bigger difference in your considerations for actual performance rather than driving on the street. So there you go. If you guys like the data analysis side of these videos, let me know and I will continue to make more of them.
So there it is, the integrated engineering carbon fiber intake for the Mark II TTS. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you are new here, do not forget to like the video and subscribe and share it with your friends. And also for you guys that are subscribers, don't forget to check out Reckless. The link is in the description. Go pick yourself up a sticker. It helps out the channel, and we will be starting, I don't want to call it like a charity fund or anything like that, but I will go into more detail about it in a future video. We just want to be able to help automotive enthusiasts out in the community that have run into issues and have gotten injuries and that kind of thing, doing what they love. So don't forget to go and grab a Reckless sticker so that we can hopefully help people out in the future. And also check out any of the links I have to the parts, the tuning or anything that I have on the car for ECS, because anything you guys buy through ECS as well also helps out the channel. But without me blabbing on too much longer, thank you guys for checking out today's video. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out. I will see you in the next video.